Welcome to Advanced Automation, a podcast by Calvary Robotics, where you'll find industry leaders and experts sharing their thoughts on the world of automation.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for listening. I'm Josh Gravel, your host for this installment of Advanced Automation. Today, we have with us Ryan Reynolds, Project Manager of Boulter Industrial Contractors. Ryan, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so for people who aren't in the Rochester area and don't see the Boulter trucks driving down the highway, you know, the big blue with the white lettering, tell us a little bit about Boulter.
Boulter is a 131-year-old company. It started with horse and carriage, hauling ice to various customers. It has evolved greatly into more of a heavy hauling, big machinery moving, to steel fabricating, creating and packaging, warehousing, storage, to a very array of workers here that are all specialized in different fields.
Yeah, it sounds like Boulter does a lot. So tell us about you, Ryan. What is your past, from beginning to where we are today?
Oh, my beginning. Where to start on that one? So I grew up in Lyons, New York, right here in Wayne County. I still live in Lyons. I left for a little while for college. I got an associate's at FLCC, Finger Lakes Community College. I went on to SUNY Cobleskill, where I got a bachelor's degree in fisheries and aquaculture and kind of environmental side with that as well. Got out of college and realized that, for one, that really doesn't offer much for pay. And the bills came in. I've always had several jobs under my belt. I worked basically through college to put myself through college. And I got out. I jumped into a job doing some semiconductor work in a clean room. Did that for a few years. Wanted to change, moved on, and I got my CDL and started driving bootlegging, I'd like to say, for liquor and wine delivery. So I did that right here in Rochester. I did that for several years. And then I had a little boy that came along. And so my time with him, with being on the road and driving, and that kind of led me into a more, I wouldn't say 9-to-5 job, but I wanted something a little more home and to spend that time with him. So I got lucky, and Boulter called me back in 2016, and they brought me on. I started in the crating and packaging department. And coming into that, I always like to work with my hands. I've always been a hands-on learner. In high school, we had one year where we got to do like a shop class, and I loved it. And then it was out of there, on to nothing. Like, we never really got to experience and get out to see what was out there, in my mind. So coming over here, it was like a whole new spectrum of all kinds of things. You have the crating, you have the iron fab, you have, the trucking portion. It's a all spot here. And so I did the crating. I would go on the road with the guys. I did that bouncing back and about a year and a half ago, they brought me into the project management role.
Wonderful. That sounds like a great history, and you're where you're meant to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. It's such a wide offering that you guys have. How have you seen, technology change from the industry from like 10 years ago, would you say?
Technology has come a long way. We rely on that more and more every day, especially with the younger generations coming up. I mean, technology drives us. Especially for you guys with the robotics and everything you're into. With us, because of the different fields we're in, like right now, we're kind of dabbling in a new program that should come out in a week or so, where it's a new software that's going to connect with our customers more with the jobs. So we start the job when they get dispatched, basically. It's going to go to the customer. They're going to get a list of the people that are coming. So it's more of on a friendly basis. They can see the faces of the crew that's coming, if they're bringing them a machine or they're coming to work on a conveyor line, or it keeps a timely manner with them too. They know what time they're coming. And it keeps track of everything in a better manner. So in the rigging department, we have some of our new forklifts. They have their Versalifts that they've got cameras on them. They've got readers on there that shoot out the weights of the machinery. So a lot of times we see with equipment that comes in, truck drivers lie, the paperwork lies, the weights are never always true. So a piece of equipment the forklift may not be able to handle, that's a big safety concern. So now some of these bigger ones, because we handle such heavy weight, it leaves a path for a more safer environment with that. Also with in our crating department, so we're kind of looking a little bit into some like CAD files now, so we can have them design the crates for us in a more timely, efficient manner. This just saves, like, we used to sit down and we would hand draw out each little cut sheet for each, and each piece is its own unique thing that we're creating. We're not always creating the same thing. So having to sit down and go through every cut sheet on every new piece, there's a lot of labor costs. And so we're looking into that way to save money and time. And also with the crating department, we would do loadouts. So sea container, overseas shipping, or any kind of truck loadouts. We do use a cargo program that better fills the load at a more maximum capacity, and a better layout program for it, just to, once again, keep the cost down for the customers.
So it sounds like there's a lot of data collection that happens with a lot of these updates you're making. I would assume kind of like in our industry, in automation with web, industry 4.0, industry of things, all that with all these analytics, you guys can better kind of assess, what's been done, what's coming, and talk to your customers with that data.
Definitely. With HubSpot's another platform that we use, it keeps a good history on the different jobs we've done for each customer. It keeps the stats on that. So if at any point we need to look back or kind of go over anything we've done in the past or we can do with them in the future, we keep that info to better suit their needs.
So in your industry, what are some of the examples of how technology has created, new job categories, even as it displaces others?
So a lot of the way customers are going now is having a more automated lines in their facilities, their manufacturing plants and that. So, the industry for the robotics is booming, which in our case, we're setting this machinery, so it's booming for us as well. In the displacing of jobs, I feel we're in a time right now where we have this major labor shortage that, the robotics is where we got to go. The robotics can take away different positions, but it opens up different jobs, as in like the manual labor portion of putting these machines, programming these machines. There's a lot more into it other than just displacing of somebody's position.
Absolutely. I mean, we encounter this every time in history,
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever the new technology is, they're always like, it's going to kill whatever it is now. But yeah, it's absolutely right. It creates more than you think. And what have you seen are the benefits of automation technology, and how do these align with, the skilled trades?
Automation technology can definitely help with reducing the labor costs and increasing productivity. And then that's going to give our skilled workers more time to focus on more complex tasks. Also, it's going to reduce the risk of injury, any accidents in the workplace, creating a safer work environment for our skilled tradespeople. Also,
dirty and dangerous, right? That's kind of what we look to eliminate. All the stuff that humans don't want to do, or it's too repetitive, or like we said, dangerous and stuff. So yeah, that's absolutely right, I think.
Exactly.
What ways does Boulter keep up with, the changing landscape of technology? Because as we're kind of already talking, things are going at such a fast pace these days. How do you guys keep up with it?
So we're always looking into future training, any education that we can give the employees to help update the latest technology advancements in the industries. Like I said, we're always looking for new technologies and solutions that help improve efficiency and reduce costs for our customers. Kind of like these new software programs. Kind of one of the best examples we see, we found at a Skills USA event last week is they had T-shirts for these kids, and on the back of it says, "Teach me like your pension relies on." And I mean that it sets a home for like, we're in the mixture right now of an older generation in our crews and the younger generations coming up. So the younger guys are more tech savvy, and our older guys they're set in their pre-existent ways, and that's your future. We need to train and make this.
I always say a good way to tell you're getting older is when you start complaining about the young people.
Exactly.
So, like, based on that whole idea, how do we keep older generations up to speed and eager to implement new forms of technology? Because it's hard. I mean, even for myself, a new thing comes out, a new technology or software, the learning curve, that's real. How do you think we can help older generations adapt to the fast pace of technology?
It is tough, and I find myself doing that at times too. I want to not always take on the new things that come out. But, in our case here, we're always doing the ongoing training, educating in different opportunities to help these older generations stay more up to date with the latest technology. There's offering incentives, learning these new technologies. A lot of places are doing more promotions to motivate these older workers to adopt these new tools, and above all, it's, creating the culture for, to want to learn.
Yeah, I totally agree. Incentivizing, making sure they stay eager and want to stay active with it. Absolutely.
Yeah. My biggest thing with technology is now it's YouTube. There isn't anything on YouTube you can't find. If you need to fix something, that's your tool.
So on the other end, what advice do you give to a high schooler, looking to get into the trades and to expand their knowledge?
I mean, as I've said before, anytime if you're a hands-on, you like to learn, take any opportunity you can. And that's where I've been. I wish I got started in this industry right out of high school. I wish I never went on to college. I've always enjoyed learning and picking up new things. And if I could go back to high school and change it all over, I definitely would have looked into a more trade-specific line.
Yeah. So you think you'd recommend they kind of look at that option versus college, depending on what their not even their skill set, but their desire is, or what what they want to do? Yeah.
My son, he's only 8, and I pick on him all the time because he's a big gamer. He loves his PlayStation, his VR headset, and a lot of the way this technology is moving now is like some of the heavy machinery. They're turning that into analog sticks and more controls around that line of the technology. So me and him will go back all the time where he's playing his PlayStation, and I said, you could be a crane operator. You're running this kind of equipment, and just kind of pushing him towards a different line of work in that aspect.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things too I've noticed come up through our Calvary TV and podcast episodes, that although you said you might go back and change college or some of the past, you don't always know where, like, just because you want to be in one thing, everything you do should hopefully help you learn something though to advance you. And you might think, oh, I want to be in this field, but you might not know, like, oh, that led me to this other field, or use those skills that I learned there. So there is a lot of transitional, I think, things, and don't just count what you are picking up, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoy my experiences that I had and everything that I did learn going through college. And did I expect to find myself in this situation? No. Am I thankful for where I'm at? Yes.
Yeah.
But it's learning, and
right.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. And to defend yourself, the thing is, we want to push like that skilled trades, and going to a trade school is such a great option that it doesn't have to be college. So I think, having so many options is really the key, and to look at them all. Don't think you have to just do the one thing, right?
Exactly.
Well, so I'm gonna have you pull out your crystal ball. Since this is audio, people can't see, but it's right behind you. I see you grabbing it, and I want you to look into it and tell us what you think your industry will be like 20 years from now.
Oh.
So this is a big one, I think. Just, best guess.
So shake that ball up a little bit. You see this artificial intelligence, this AI programs and everything that's out now, that's doing all this programming and writing, and we've used it in here. It's can write up anything you want. It can take your simple couple words and write a whole book for you and make it sound, as professional as can be. I see that pulling a lot of jobs out of the way for some of these people. So to open up more openings in the skilled trades versus, this IT department.
Too, like, are you guys thinking like cars driving auto drive cars, auto load trailers, stuff like that? And
well, we're seeing it now with driverless tractor trailers and that they're coming out with, and do I see us doing that in this department? No. I mean, I don't see a robot loading the machinery onto our trucks anytime soon. But I mean, for over the road delivery services and stuff like that, like that's going to be a big thing, I would think, in the next 10 years. I would say also with the driverless trucking, they're pushing more towards battery operated now too. So I think we're going to see more of that down the road with more of the tractor trailers and stuff like that with battery operated.
Maybe the roads will even charge the cars as we drive. In some cases, that's a technology that's kind of starting to come out there, right?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Like, what are some of your pain points that you think technology will solve probably in 20 years?
So we can say with in the crating and packaging department, one of the major issues we have in there is cutting the wrong dimensions or something like that with the wood. There's programs out there that are all CNC driven that does all our cutting, and that, down the road, would it be able to wrap and package, moisturize, barrier, protect these machines for us? That takes away the tedious tasks that we have for having to sit there and wrapping them and sealing them and packaging them. It's, things get a little tiring doing the same thing every time, but, and then from there we get them fully done, have that, load it right into the truck for us, scan it with your phone, and away it goes. That would be the way.
That sounds good. Yeah. I mean, you're still kind of doing it, but instead of 5 people wrapping it, it's a one robot kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe 20 years we'll do a follow-up podcast and you'll say, I told you that was going to
happen. I should have bought into that.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, what is a good way for our listeners to get in touch with Boulter or with you specifically?
Best way to find any information, going right on boulterindustrial.com. Go through, check our website. It's got all kinds of great content on there. All of our project managers are reachable on calendar invites on there. With our advancements in technology here, we have a digital business card of my own that we can throw on here. You can find me on LinkedIn, YouTube. Boulter Industrial has their own YouTube channel with great new content that's always getting uploaded. So if you got time, it's great time to check out some good videos.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing videos of all the awesome jobs you guys do, and especially if you're Rochester based, but even if you're not, I mean, it's cool to see all the stuff that's happening right in our backyard.
Definitely.
Well, I appreciate, your time and today talking with us about all this. Thanks again.
No, thank you, Josh. I appreciate the opportunity.
And thank you to all the listeners. Make sure to subscribe to Advanced Automation wherever you get your podcasts, and head over to calvaryrobotics.com to listen to other episodes, watch our series Calvary TV, and lots of other great content about Calvary Robotics. Have a great day.